Latest on Prince Harry's legal battles with esteemed royal biographer Angela Levin. And breaking tonight, the Duke of Sussex is set to be involved in no less than 2 major court dates next week, one in the US and one in London, where he's going to become the first royal to give courtroom testimony since the 19th century. In Washington, D.C., on Tuesday, the US government is facing questions for failing to make Harry's visa application public after the Heritage Foundation requested it. The Conservative think tank believes the pothead prince should be deported after his barefaced brags about drug use, which would render his visa invalid. And also on Tuesday, here in the UK, it's going to be a big day, folks. The High Court will hear evidence from Harry and the claim he's brought against Mirror newspaper groups who he's accused of hacking in his latest legal campaign against the press. Meanwhile, Meghan remains nowhere to be seen, letting the prince deal with both court issues by himself, with the runaway duo's 5-year marriage reportedly in a little bit of trouble. So, Angela, look, lots to discuss here, but do you think Harry's American dream is starting to collapse around him? And the problem is, would the UK want him back now if he is deported or if his marriage does break down?
I think all his dreams are collapsing, actually. I think they're much more like nightmares now because he doesn't know who to be or what to be. And the impression I get is that Meghan isn't there to help him in the same way that if you really love somebody, you would be, actually. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him. And although I'm extremely annoyed with him and I can't recognise what he's like, I do feel sorry for somebody in such a state that they don't know where to turn and how to manage. And he's created for himself a whole pool of negativity. So it's only where he looks, it's being fed up with things, not things working out, wanting to punish people, trying to change the press in this country, all alone, one single man doing that. It's all just impossible for him. And he's got nowhere where he can feel positive and build on himself and look for the future. And I think Meghan is not actually trying to help him with that.
The problem is, Angela, it's very difficult for me to feel sorry for him about, for example, this Heritage Foundation court case, because he's saying to the British press now, you have to be whiter than white on every single issue, or I am going to come for you and try and destroy you. Well, I'm sorry, he wasn't whiter than white on his visa application, because if he had owned up about his chronic drug use, there's no way he would have been allowed into the US. So if he is expecting everyone else to be completely 100% right about everything all the time, then surely we have to expect that from him.
Yeah, well, we've seen the hypocrisy for years now. You know, don't you fly on planes and I'm going to fly on planes. That, you know, be compassionate, but not to anybody that's within my family, you know. And I think that's what we've got used to. But I looked up a lot. I spent quite a while looking at the USA and what they do about drugs. And if they feel that somebody's in remission, they will give them another chance. So they don't actually just wipe it out. But what the point is, whether he's told the truth or not, whether he's actually said that. Yeah. And the drugs that he has said that he's taken, that's also on the scale. They don't actually do it as toughly as I initially thought.
No, but it is illegal drug use, though, isn't it, that he admitted to in Spare?
Yes, well, yes. Cocaine is a drug that you can't have, and he's had it. And that might be very difficult for him.
And all the Heritage Foundation is saying they just want to see the application. Yes. Let's just see if Harry was honest or not.
It's in the public interest, actually, that this prince shows that he's being honest and honourable. And it's not a Biden trick that they're not going to... He's let Harry in because he's got all the prerogatives of being there. He can't have him as a prince actually taking advantage of that when he hates the whole royal family. It's a nonsense.
Now, interestingly, Angela, the Mail has actually released a series of comments made by Prince Harry to you as his biographer back in 2017. I actually wanted to get your reaction to some of these now because, quite frankly, they reveal a totally different man. So let's go to the first quote. This is what Harry told you at the time. I spent many years kicking my heels and I didn't want to grow up. I felt I wanted out, but then decided to stay in and work out a role for myself. So was Harry actually interested in staying in the royal family.
Yeah, he was. That's why I'm so disappointed in him, because he was so different when we talked for a long time, hours. And he said that what he wanted to do was help the Queen. It was a time when she'd stopped doing a great many things because she was 90, and he wanted to be there for him. Also, he wanted to be the person right behind William when he became king, so he could really help him. And William wanted that, and so he's ruined all that. His mind has changed enormously. He'd met Meghan then, but it hadn't got so hot. And
well, indeed, because speaking of Meghan, a D-list celebrity, look at what else Harry said. Talking to the royal family, he said, "We don't want to be just a bunch of celebrities, but instead use our role for good. We are not doing this for ourselves, but the greater good of the people and the monarchy we represent." But Angela, how staggering. He literally moved to Montecito to become a Hollywood celebrity.
Yeah, I asked him the question about if he was with an actress, would he ever want to be more of a celebrity than working within the royal family. And he said to me, absolutely not. There's a very thin line, and I'm sticking to the line. I don't want it. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is that if you're a celebrity, it's unfair because you can choose when you're out and about and people can take pictures of you. If you're a member of the royal family, you have to agree that it's 24/7. And I think that it's very important that you stand up for that. I mean, he was actually saying that. So that's why I've been so shocked by the complete change, how anyone can change so much in a short time.
Well, indeed, because the other thing I wanted to show you, which Harry said, was a really strong defence of the royal family, actually. Yeah, he said, "We want to make sure the monarchy lasts and are passionate about what it stands for." And how shocking, Angela, because he is clearly now running a campaign to tear it down.
Yes, but he also said it's a very important institution and every country should have it. You're speechless. You're speechless, because I agree with you. He absolutely wants to crush it into the ground.
I guess what we have to think about is, was he telling the truth to you then, and has Meghan come into his world and sort of warped his view of the monarchy, or was he potentially lying to you then? What do you think it is?
Well, I can't actually say for certain, but the thing is, I didn't make him say anything. I think I'd been following him and with him on engagements for nearly a year by that time, so we had got to know each other. And I don't think he was telling a lie. I mean, it's quite interesting. I let him tell me what he wanted to tell me. It was then that he said how terrible it was behind his mother's coffin.
But look, Angela, this is another huge day for him on Tuesday.
Yes.
First time since the 19th century that a royal has been giving evidence in a court case. Could this backfire on Harry?
Of course it will. It will be extremely embarrassing for him because he's not the brightest star. He's got instinct, but he's not got intellectual ability. And the lawyers are going to be top class, so they're going to make mincemeat out of him. Absolute mincemeat. And he'll get things wrong and he'll get all angry, and it will be just terrible. Okay. I expect he'll rehearse some of the things he'll say, but that will sound completely phony.
Angela Levin, Harry's biographer, thank you so much. And, of course, we will be bringing you special coverage of Harry in the dock Tuesday night here on GB News.